Hey everyone, I hope everybody's been having a great week so far, and I hope you've all been enjoying the Easter devotion so far. Reese had asked me would I share a quick thought around Easter. So whenever Easter starts to approach, some of us, we find ourselves thinking about who we've have to buy Easter eggs for, or having to buy Easter eggs, and about the chocolate, and maybe about the new clothes, or maybe about the Easter day trips out. And as all as that is great, and that's so good to be thinking about others, or maybe thinking about the fun that we can have, we never really find ourselves thinking about the death and the resurrection of Jesus, or the purpose of Christ's life was to offer himself and a sacrifice for all of mankind's sins. You and I, we were created to live in a relationship with God. But until we find that relationship, there will always be something missing in our lives. There will always be like that gap or that void. And as a result of that, we'll often be aware of that gap and of that missing void. So people, some of us, we kind of try and fill that void and that gap that's missing with maybe going out. And may it be drinking, may it be partying, may it be relationships, or going from job to job. It could maybe even be going to try and fit in with different friend groups or whatever, but that's never going to fill that gap. It might fill that gap for just a short time, but it never lasts, and the peace and the love that you're looking for will never be there. Life is like a jigsaw. That missing piece is like a jigsaw, and it's like we get all the pieces together in a jigsaw, and we get to the last bit and we're looking around the box and we're trying to find where that missing piece of the jigsaw puzzle is, and we can't find it. So there's that one gap of puzzle missing. But until we find that, the jigsaw isn't complete. And it's kind of like our lives. Our lives are never going to be complete unless we have Jesus in it. Our lives are never going to be complete unless we have the love and the peace of God in our lives. So that's what it's like. It's like finding that missing piece and putting it in our lives. So I encourage you that whether you do or you don't know God, that you would really search for the peace from him, and just take it in that he is with you. And if there's one thing about God, is he will never leave you. He will never leave your side. And whenever we try and fill that gap with all those different things and it never really fills it, sometimes we can still be alone, but with God we are never alone. So I just encourage you that as we go through this Easter season, as we go through this Easter period, I just encourage you to look into it more if you haven't already. I encourage you to find the peace of God, and I encourage you just to fill that gap that is missing in your life with Jesus. And the Lord is with us always. He fills our path before we even wake up. He knows what we're going to do within our day. So just give it all over to him. And when we get to the foot of the cross, we just need to lay it all down. We just need to give it all to him, and he'll be with us. He is with you. He is always with you. So I just encourage you, that is, you go about the rest of your week or the rest of this Easter period, that you would just think about God and think about accepting him into your life. I don't say this just to yourselves, and I say this to myself too, because life was never going to be perfect. It's not like this perfect fix whenever Jesus first comes into our lives, but eventually we will get there. Eventually we will have hope, and we will have peace with us, because Jesus gives that. Jesus gives hope and peace. So yeah, I just encourage you to find the love of God, and I encourage you just to ask Jesus into your heart, and I encourage you just to give it all to him. So yeah, I just pray that whoever's watching this, I pray that something out of it encourages you, and I pray that it helps you. I hope you enjoy the rest of your day. God bless.